I think there are two reasons. In the modern global organization, so much of the competitive advantage comes from the knowledge that you have within the company. So therefore, you're going to need increasingly number of specialists, and you need those specialists visible to your customers, to your clients, to your senior leadership, so you're making the right decisions. The second reason, too, is risk profile is so high now for companies that you want your specialist in more senior roles so that you're certain you've covered the risk appropriately for the business. All right, so on the one hand, you can't assume that your specialists have had the incremental training and development in the management and leadership skills that you often get for your generalist. They will have skipped sort of the first-line supervisory skills, for example, so they won't have learned how to delegate or any of the basics that you expect initial managers to get. So you've got to fill some gaps for them. Second, specialists often want to know the hows and whys, and they're kind of unrelenting on occasion about specifically what does that mean I need to do. So it's almost as if you can't give them the general concepts and assume they will go figure it out. They need much more detailed, concrete verbs. What do I do and how do I do it? And on the third, you're really talking about a mindset transition that is unusual, I think, for the rest of your managers. And in the report, we do a nice job, I think, of laying out the mindset of the specialist versus the mindset of someone who's leading. And I think your training and development sort of needs to be, and coaching needs to be focused on helping them understand the differences between those two and what to do accordingly. Okay. There are at least 5 things that stand out to me for today. So one is the need to be incredibly clear about what it is you're expecting your specialist to do while they're leading. So what is you're asking for of them as a leader? What's their role in leading? 2 is making sure that the manager of that specialist is supporting the specialist as a leader, supporting them in the larger organizational context as well as supporting them privately, and there's a lot of trust and confidence. 3 is making sure that you have been crystal clear with what you're expecting in the behaviors. Way too often we say we want you to be strategic, be visionary, be or have executive presence, but we never define what that means you do. So use the verbs, not necessarily adjectives, for your specialist in particular. The 4th is to make sure that they've got the right kind of support around them. So a coach, a mentor, whatever other support is going to help them stay focused and continue to move into areas that are not necessarily comfortable, rather than to slide back into the comfort zone, which is in the specialty. And the 5th is being clear with them about the nature of the transition. Can they go back? What happens if it doesn't work? What's really required of them in the transition, sort of what happens next after this. So a real description to them of what this transition is like and what they can expect from the organization.